Are you postmenopausal and battling weight gain and frustrated to no end? This is very, very common. Welcome to Talking with Docs. I'm Dr. Brad Weenan.
I'm Dr. Paul Zalza. We have a guest here, a really smart one. She's an internal medicine doc. Those are like the smart ones, in case you were wondering.
Hi, I'm Dr. Natasha Sheikh. I'm one of the internists here at the Oakville Trafalgar Hospital. I know Brad and Paul, and hopefully we're going to talk a little bit more about postmenopausal weight gain.
And this is a really common problem.
Yeah, it causes stubborn belly fat, and largely due to the fact that postmenopausal women are in a relative estrogen deficiency state, and so estrogen works in various organs throughout the body, or acts on various organs, and regulates a variety of mechanisms, and plays a role in our metabolism. So when you're estrogen deficient, you reap the negative consequences of not having enough estrogen in your body, and so it wreaks havoc on your metabolism.
Right, and so many people, and we see this in our comments all the time, I'm eating the same as I did before, maybe I'm eating less, I'm exercising more, and my body is still changing. And it's very frustrating and I think defeating for a lot of our viewers.
Oh, absolutely.
It's definitely not your imagination. There's something going on with the hormones, specifically estrogen, during menopause that changes the way your body uses energy, metabolizes energy, and stores energy, and that's what seems to be happening.
Exactly. So estrogen is a really important hormone that plays a role in a variety of mechanisms in the body. So it acts on the brain and is important in appetite regulation. So it actually promotes satiety or fullness. So promotes fullness and reduces or suppresses appetite. So when you are in a low estrogen state, sort of those mechanisms that regulate appetite are impacted. So all of a sudden you might start feeling more hungry than you used to. You have cravings, things like that. And that could be a result of less estrogen on board.
Okay, so there's number one.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say I'm low estrogen because I'm always hungry. I must be.
You might be low estrogen.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, what else does estrogen do?
Yes, so estrogen also plays a role in the way your fat is distributed. So it has this protective mechanism to allow for fat to be stored in the thighs, the buttocks, the hips, and sort of sparing the belly a little bit. And so when you start to lose estrogen as you age, you tend to have fat accumulate more in the abdomen, which we know is not great for your health. Right. Increased abdomen or fat in the abdomen is associated with higher risk of cardiovascular diseases, metabolic syndrome, things like that. So again, another reason why you have that stubborn belly fat that's not going anywhere despite your best efforts.
And some of that's under the skin, but some of it's deep around our organs.
Exactly.
It's the really bad fat.
Exactly.
Right?
That's called visceral fat, and that's the one that's really bad and associated with increased cardiometabolic risk.
Okay. Are there other things that estrogen does that kind of biases towards gaining fat and gaining belly fat?
Yes, it helps to maintain skeletal muscle mass. So of course, as you know, we age, we lose a certain amount of muscle mass every year as we age, and of course having less estrogen on board can play a role in, it kind of makes it harder for us to maintain muscle mass. So again, and that also plays a role in metabolism, as you know.
Yeah, it's like a furnace that just burns lots of calories, that lean muscle mass.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
The deal is with muscle mass, if you have more muscle mass on board, then you're burning more calories just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because the muscles use energy even when they're not really doing much. So that's why having a good amount of muscle mass will increase your basal metabolic rate, which will just help you burn energy not doing anything. I used to think of it oversimplified. You know, with my engineering background, it was like, well, energy in equals energy out. So just eat less, exercise more.
Exactly.
And then you think about it, well, it's actually energy in equals energy stored plus energy out. Okay, fine. It's still a simple equation, scientific. But what I didn't really appreciate until more recently was energy in definitely equals energy stored plus energy out. But the way your body stores energy, the way it puts out energy, and the way it takes in energy all change with the biologic factors that we're talking about. So the equation still holds, but the variables that control those aspects of the equation can really get changed, especially in menopause.
Exactly.
I'd say the last big one for us and for a lot of our viewers is the effect of estrogen on our bones.
Yeah, so estrogen plays an important role in bone metabolism and maintaining bone health, which is super important because as you age, you lose bone mass, right? And so it's so important to take calcium and vitamin D, but building skeletal mass or increasing your muscle mass can also help prevent with bone loss and protect your bones.
We preach resistance training.
Yes.
We think, honestly, everybody that's over 50, particularly women, should be picking up some weights a couple times a week. Start slow, stay consistent.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the main reason people clicked on this video and I've watched it so far is they want to know, okay, fine. I have belly fat related to estrogen deficiency. What can I possibly do to combat this? Maybe to prevent it, but also to prevent it from getting worse, or maybe even to make it better.
Yeah, so there's no easy answer. Sorry, no quick solution, guys. It's really about living a healthy lifestyle. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. So building more muscle mass, resistance training with progressive overload, increasing your weights every week in a safe manner and gradually to build that muscle. So at least 3 times a week would be ideal. The other thing that you can do to sort of boost your metabolism is some form of cardio, because that helps with mitochondrial health. Those are the powerhouses of the cell that are responsible for energy production. So that's another thing that you can do. And then, eating healthy and increasing protein. So, there's all this talk about protein, but if in estrogen deficient states, your appetite is all out of whack, you're getting cravings, you're feeling hungry, you're not feeling full as easily, well, counteracting that by increasing protein intake, which we know promotes fullness, might be a way to sort of help in those times of life when you're sort of in a lower estrogen state.
And actually, we had an expert in from McMaster, Stu Phillips, is
wonderful.
like a world leader, and certainly said, yeah, you know what, that 0.8 that the RDA says, we're probably more in the 1.2 to 1.6 area. So, and as we get older, often we just don't need as much protein. We've talked about this before. So just beware of your protein intake.
One other thing I think someone's going to think about, someone's going to leave a comment about, and certainly a lot of people are doing, was what about the new GLP, not even that new anymore, but GLP agonists? Do they play a role in that stage of life for helping with the belly fat?
They can. But again, with the GLP-1s, there's so much data and so much research coming out there. It's one of those things that it plays a role in the hormone signaling, promotes satiety, reduces cravings, so it can be quite effective. But of course, once you go off GLP-1s, it's harder to maintain that weight loss. Sure. And we know that menopause is for the long haul. So finding other solutions, and we know GLPs can cause rapid weight loss. And if you're not increasing your protein intake to maintain muscle, you're not exercising regularly and doing resistance training, you're going to lose muscle mass, and subsequently you might have some impacts on the bone as well.
So you're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Which normally you're okay with. I know.
In this case.
Okay, lastly, and we'd be remiss without talking about it, what about hormone replacement? What role does this play? Because medicine, we've gotten some things wrong over the history of medicine, and I would say confidently that 25 years ago, I think we got HRT wrong due to the Women's Health Initiative. We've talked about this before. What is your thought on hormone replacement for menopause in general, as well as to address belly fat? Yeah,
so it actually can be helpful, but again, it has to be done in conjunction with all the lifestyle changes that we talked about, right? It's not going to.
You can't just take HRT.
Exactly, you can't just take HRT, hormone replacement therapy without, maintaining your muscle mass or exercising. Or
it's not an anabolic steroid.
Absolutely. So. And there are side effects. It's not for everybody. Can increase your risk of blood clots, can have sometimes negative consequences on the cardiovascular system. So you really need to talk to your health professional about whether or not it's the right fit for you and whether or not it's appropriate for you.
Okay.
So it's a good news, bad news thing. Good news is there is treatment solutions, things you can do to deal with this issue you may be having. Bad news is it's not a quick fix. It's going to take some work, and it's going to take a multimodal approach.
Absolutely.
And I think, like we always talk about, it's kind of pillars of health stuff too. So, healthy diet and exercise, good sleep obviously really negatively affects our metabolism, as well as reducing your stress, which is easy to say in a world that is full of stress. So just those pillars of health are really critical, and I think we overlooked them for a long time.
Definitely.
So energy in equals energy stored plus energy out, but your body is changing the weight it puts on those different variables as life goes on, so we just have to deal with it.
Exactly.
It's not easy, but there is a reason you're feeling that way. It's not your imagination. And thank you so much for explaining what is going on in this stage of life.
No problem. Best of luck, guys.
Now if you like this video, please like it, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment if you are battling belly fat, if you've figured out some hack that might help some of our other viewers.
And remember, you are in charge of your own health.
We'll see you next time.